me see. Yes, it looks like we are. All right, I want to take this opportunity here while we're waiting for feedback, make sure everything's working good. I want to ask the folks out there to please go to hankstrange.com, sign up for our email list. Very important. That's how we communicate with you guys. And Lola's going to be doing some giveaways. We have lots of other things going on through there. So please do that. Lola shares deals. You can also on hankstrange.com find Lola's deals. Also, boom, if you're looking for patches, you want to support us, you could buy these patches. Some people have been buying the patches lately, and we appreciate that. We've got two different ones to choose from, and they're both on hankstrange.com. There you go. And guess what? While we're doing the patch thing, because usually Lola will throw some stickers or something cool like that in there for you guys, some extras. Guess what? The NSSF has sent me a bunch of these gun vote stickers. Check that out there. Boom.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, so they sent me a bunch of these, and I'll share these with you guys until I run out. So if you get the Hank Strange patches, Lola will... See, look, I got a bunch of them here. Lola will send those out, and there was a package, like I said, that came from NSSF. It says, gun vote, don't risk your rights, 2020. So yes, we support that. Of course we do. Of course we do. All right, so let me do this. Let me throw everyone here in on the screen. There we go. And let me press the button and get the show popping here right now.
Welcome back to the Hank Strange Situation. Lifestyles of the Locked and Loaded.
Make sure that you guys smash the thumbs ups button. Share this, ring the bell, all that kind of good stuff so you can be notified when we go live. Okay, let's see. We've got Sam Paredes joining us. We also have Richard from BWE joining us. We're going to get into all that. Of course, you guys know we start off with the jazz hands. Come on, let's see those jazz hands, guys. Come on, sit. There you go. Jazz hands. There you go. Look at that. There you go. I hope you guys have your big girl panties on. It's going to be a fun one. Big shout out to Harry's Holsters. Thanks to them for supporting the podcast here. Let me start with our friend Sam Paredes. There he goes. The mustache is on point.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wyatt Earp and Pancho Villa, two of my heroes, man.
Oh, okay. Wyatt Earp and Pancho Villa. Okay, cool. Very nice. Very nice. Sam's joining us from California, of course. You're the founder of Gun Owners of California, right?
Well, I'm the executive director. Senator
okay.
H.L. Richardson was the founder.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
right, okay. Yeah, my bad on that one. And you're also on the board of GOA.
Yep, I'm the secretary-treasurer of the Board of Gun Owners of America and secretary-treasurer of Gun Owners Foundation, where we file our lawsuits.
Okay, awesome. Very good. Thanks for joining us. We will be talking here about what's going on in California as well as other places. And speaking of other places, we've got Richard of BWE Firearms joining us.
No, I'm not.
You're not joining us?
I'm not joining you.
Am I talking to your ghost, a specter?
I'm a pigment of your imagination.
Oh, a pigment. Oh, boy. Man, okay. So Rich is obviously...
I'm wired.
Yeah, he's on fleek, as the kids say, or something like that. He's lit, or something like that. So, Sam, I want to apologize to you in advance for anything that comes out of Rich's mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just...
No apologies necessary.
No apologies. Okay, all right, cool. Shout out to everyone out there. As you guys are coming in here, smash the thumbs ups. We have a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. I do want to remind everyone... tomorrow night we've got Pete Brownell joining us from Barnauls. He'll be on the show here, taking questions and stuff like that. So that's already set up. So if you see like another thing, and you might want to let people know, because I think that some people are going to that other thing because we set it up in advance so everyone can go there and watch it and all that, so they could be notified. So there may be some people over there. But that's what's going on with that. So that'll go on tomorrow. I usually don't set those things up in advance. I do it 10, 15 minutes before we do the show. So no one is prepared for that. So, yeah. This is what happens when you're organized, Sam. This is why I don't like to be organized, by the way. People
Adapt, improvise, and overcome, man. That's it.
Yeah, people keep saying, oh, you should organize. And do this in advance, then no one knows because they're not ready for me to be organized.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just like when Lola sees my stuff and then decides she's going to organize everything for me, and then I can't find anything.
It's organized chaos.
Yeah, exactly. So what's up with you guys? Sam, I haven't seen you here in a little while. What's been going on in California or elsewhere that, you want to keep us appraised of and make sure we're on top of that?
Well, here in California, as always, we're facing the onslaught from the legislature. This coming Monday is the last day of session, and they go away for the rest of the year and can't do anything else. Pass all of their legislation and send it to the governor's office. We've got some bills here that you folks in Free America will think are absolutely crazy, but that's what they do here. They're trying to make it more difficult for youth shooting clubs, Boy Scouts that have shooting programs at camps and scholastics. High school shooting teams are going to have trouble lending guns to youth in order to participate in the shooting sports. They want to be able to fine the dealers in California up to $3,000 if they don't cross the right T or dot the right I.
Wow.
We've got more gun violence restraining orders bills that are coming down the pike here. Mm-hmm. There's even a hunting bill that we've taken an interest in. I mean, you and I know that hunting is, the Second Amendment isn't about hunting, but it is a part of the whole universe.
Right.
Hunters are shooters, gun owners, and we want to respect and help them to enjoy their sport and buy all the guns they want, because guns can be used for hunting and they can be used for self-protection as well as recreational purposes. Mm-hmm. And there's a bill that's going to make it illegal for anybody to possess iconic African game animal trophies. So if your granddad went on safari 30 years ago and you have an elephant or a giraffe or a zebra or any of that, a lion or a leopard, mm-hmm. It's going to be legal for you to have that in possession, and they're going to even offer $500 to anybody who rats on you and says,
"Wow,
I know somebody who has." This whole bill about banning the importation of any of these hides or trophies into California and banning the possession of those that are here is all about getting the camel's nose under the tent to end trophy hunting. And they think that since they can't totally ban guns at one shot, if they get rid of a reason for people to buy guns, if they get rid of hunting, then people won't buy hunting guns. There'll be fewer people who want to get involved.
They could kill a big part of the industry for sure, right?
Yeah.
No question about it.
Yeah.
No question about it.
So, okay, on the trophy issue.
So,
sorry, go ahead.
Legislation wrapping up, and, we're hot heavy in the courts right now. And, of course, in California, as well as throughout the country, we've got a very hot election that's going to be extremely important to not only here in the Golden State, but across the Fruit Plain. So it's nuts. With the coronavirus, everybody had to stay home for a while, and we didn't miss a beat. We were busy like crazy trying to make sure that gun stores and gun-related businesses were considered essential businesses and should not be shut down. So we worked with the federal government to get that designation. That was a beautiful thing. And then we've worked with some of our partners to file lawsuits with communities that have ignored those guidelines.
Yeah. So that helped a lot in California, right? Because I know California definitely. There were certain other parts of the country that we didn't have to worry so much, that understood that the industry and lots of other industry is essential. But California, I'm sure, man, that,
Yeah, it's all over the map. The one thing that was positive is that they did not consider members of the legislature essential. So they left when the coronavirus started, and they didn't come back until June or July. And it was a beautiful thing, because they weren't figuring out ways how to strip more of our rights away and tax us more, do all of the crazy things that they do. So it's here. We've got whole segments of society that are still closed down. We have tens of thousands of businesses that have gone out of businesses, restaurants and suppliers and all kinds of businesses that are out of work. even in states, in counties in California that have had no coronavirus deaths, coronavirus epidemic or anything like that. So they're running roughshod over us here in California. It is as bad as it can be anywhere. That is the way it is here in California.
Yeah, I think if we really had to figure out what's the worst state for guns in America, we could say safely, unfortunately, California, which was like a cowboy state.
Yeah.
You know, and you were talking about in schools. I mean, there were a lot of people who like were very important to military efforts that learned how to shoot in schools all over the country, but also, a lot of them came out of California.
Yeah.
If you look back at that.
No, that's really true. Schools, golly, there are some communities throughout the state that are opening up the schools and allowing students to come in. The vast majority of schools are not closed in the greater LA basin and San Francisco. And with regards to training opportunities for firearms training, self-defense training, man, those have pretty well vaporized for everybody. I mean, the military, the National Guard, they're all having to go through enormous hoops here in California in order to be able to train, to be proficient, or to become proficient, and to even for training for a concealed carry weapons permit here in California. The hoops you have to jump through are almost insurmountable for most people, and yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts, and that's why we're fighting so hard here in this state, because, like I mentioned to you last time, Hank, we either affect or infect the rest of the country, and doing a whole lot of infecting lately.
Yeah.
So we're trying to stop things here before they spread across the fluid plain, and I mean, there are some states that are right behind us, Massachusetts and parts of New York, and
Jersey, and
yeah.
So,
yeah. I know. You're. Go ahead.
I said to those that have followed in our footsteps, we're sorry. We're trying to prevent the disease from spreading, and I don't mean corona.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely. I know you're. Here's how I know that you're doing a good, effective job, Sam. Every time you come on YouTube, I mean, we have shows and we talk about all kinds of stuff. When you're on, we talk about the Second Amendment. We talk about California. We talk good things a little bit. Maybe we get a little sidetracked, but we basically stay on point. And YouTube knocks it upside the head every single time. So obviously, they've got your name on a couple of lists somewhere. And every time you show up somewhere, they try to suppress your message, which I think says a lot, right?
Well, I would hope so. I'm just humble guy in California who dedicated his life to not only his faith and belief in God, but to the support of the Second Amendment. And I've had an opportunity to be on a lot of very popular podcasts, yours being one of the top of the tops.
I'm sure we're way down there, but we appreciate you coming on.
No,
we do. We
Hank,
really do.
You're awesome. Everybody, thanks, Green. I know, because I asked.
Oh, okay. Oh boy.
Hank, I'll tell it like it is. You're on the bottom.
Oh, I know.
Getting the reputation because we're fighting, that's okay.
Yeah. So before, like I want to get into what's happening in California, but along those, by the way, smash those thumbs ups. Help us get the message out here. Okay? Sam, are you on social media? Because I know some people have been hit out there. On social media, are you having any kind of issues? Are you getting hit like that?
Not really.
Okay.
We've been putting out our emails and our posts, and so far they haven't blocked us or anything yet. And we've been asking for help. We've been pointing out all of the troubles we have here in the state, what's happening in Congress, and we ask people to get involved, and we ask people to spread the word. And so far, we have not been squelched. But
if it happens, knock on wood. Knock on wood. Let's see right there. If it happens, please let us know. I mean, so at least we could try to somehow help out or get the message out. I know that John Crump, for example, got his Facebook completely deleted.
Wow.
You know, and he's a guy who actually worked for Facebook once upon a time. So, and we did a
He was
podcast
a
about that.
bad boy.
You know, we actually did a podcast with another gentleman that was out in California that worked for Facebook, actually very early on, and they were talking about all that kind of stuff. But this happened recently to John. We hope he gets that straightened out. But just if the folks out there don't know, so I just want to make sure if something happens with you, let us know so we could do our part to get the message out there. And you know, because I think it's really important that we let people know what's going on.
You know,
Go
I
ahead.
think supporting and protecting the First Amendment is every bit as important as supporting and protecting the Second Amendment. And those people and those companies and corporations and organizations and government entities that want to squelch our voice will make it more difficult for us, but we will always be able to get the message out thanks to people like you. And I'm very grateful for what you do. So thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Okay, so I know people want to ask about the magazine situation.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely going to get into that. I just want to go back for a second to the trophy thing. So I think it was already illegal to hunt certain trophies in California, right?
No, you can trophy hunt in California. You can get elk, deer, antelope, hare, sheep. You can trophy hunt in California right now.
Okay.
But people think that trophy hunting means that you take the head and you throw the body away or anything like that. That is not the way it works. They don't understand hunters and hunting if they think that. But you work hard to get a beautiful example of the species that you're trying to go after. So it is not illegal here in California.
Okay.
They haven't been able to make it illegal in California. They know if they try to make it illegal, they will wipe out an arm of government because hunters provide all of the financial resource for all outdoor activities, for the environment and conservation and all of that kind of stuff. Right. And if they hurt hunters, then they have no more money to go out and do their tree hugging and their daisy sniffing because they don't contribute spit to the process of conservation and the environment. They don't do any of that to protect the animals. And we're the ones that want to have healthy herds of all species so we can continue to hunt and enjoy the sustenance that's provided from the hunt, eating the animals, cooking them.
Yeah, it's part of the natural process. If there's certain creatures out there, if you don't keep their numbers down, they'll just wipe out everything else, right?
Hank, you hit the nail on the head. It's called carrying capacity of the land. The land can only hold X number of animals before starvation and disease starts to take place because there's so many animals competing with a finite amount of feed and cover and
land resources. Yeah. So
managing, man is here. There are some people that wish that man wasn't here so that the deer and the antelope can roam and the buffalo can roam anywhere they want and all that. That's no longer an option. Man is here.
We're here. God wanted it that way. The universe. It's that way. Let's just gotta deal with it. Yeah. There's some people who don't need to be here, but exactly.
All right, fine. I'm leaving.
No, Rich, you're good. So what was the issue were there certain trophies that were banned already, or so like more exotic animals? What was the deal there?
They started with trophies like the mountain lion. People didn't like Californians shooting mountain lions, so they banned mountain lion hunting, and they banned the possession of trophies of mountain lions unless you can prove that prior to a certain date you took that mountain lion legally. You can't prove it, you're in possession of contraband.
So certain trophies were grandfathered, but what they're trying to do now is get rid of that. So if you got a trophy from 30 years ago of something that's since been banned for you to get a trophy on, you now can't possess it, and possession of that is a crime.
Yes.
Or that's what they're trying to make it a crime.
If you still don't have the tag that you used when you took that mountain lion 30 years ago from your grandfather, your great grandfather who took it, and they don't have the license and the tag that goes to that animal, you're in possession of contraband, and you could be charged with a crime. So it's a mess, man. We've done it to bobcats now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we know that deer and elk and antelope and sheep. We have a great population of Nelson bighorn sheep in California. Very few are taken. 2 to 3 are taken every year by hunters, but they want to ban those things too. But they knew that they wouldn't affect so many people in California if they went after the African trophies first. So they're going after the rhino, the elephant, the lion, the leopard, the cheetah, the zebra, the giraffe. They're going after these trophies. None of these are endangered. As a matter of fact, when this bill came up before the legislature, one of the ministers from one of the African countries, I don't remember if it was Zimbabwe or which country, testified that by doing this, you don't understand what you're doing to the economy in Africa. Many of these rural villages exist purely on the safari industry. Not only do the safari hunters pay them to be a part of their safari, they also, when they shoot their animals, all of the meat for those animals go to these communities. It is their sustenance. People don't understand that one elephant can provide for a village for weeks.
Yeah, it's very important for their diet, and they don't have. It's not easy for them to go out on their own and do that. So those hunters are helping them out. But whatever, they don't care about that.
So we pointed out. Well, what you're saying is that it's okay with you guys if there are some African tribes where people die of hunger because you will not allow Californians to hunt and bring those trophies. And they say, oh, they can hunt, they just can't bring the trophies. Okay, so double talk there.
What's the motivation of the person going over there and doing that? It should be reciprocal. It should be a two-way street here. Yeah. Okay, that sucks to hear that. I know the folks out there are very interested in the California magazine ban. Do you want to bring us up to speed? We've talked about it, but I think you'd be like the right person to fill us in on this. Like, give us a little bit of background, and then tell us where we're at right now.
Okay, we've got 2 existing lawsuits that are taking place. First, the magazine lawsuit, which is Duncan versus Becerra, who is our Attorney General, and then the one having to do with ammunition is Rhodey versus Becerra, and we did an amicus brief on that we can touch on later. But so the California Rifle and Pistol Association, our partners here in California, funded by the National Rifle Association in part, filed a lawsuit challenging the constitutionality of the magazine laws we have in California. And those are that you're not allowed to manufacture, import, or buy any magazine that holds more than 10 rounds. If you registered an assault weapon back in the early 90s that had a high capacity, or we would call them standard capacity magazines, they are not in them LCMs, large capacity magazines, anything over 10 rounds. If you registered your gun, those magazines were all grandfathered in. So literally, when they passed the assault weapons ban in California and they first controlled magazines, there were already millions in possession. So the legislature passed a ban, making it illegal to import or buy or to manufacture. And they passed some laws that we called them the Gunmageddon laws. And then there was a Proposition 63 that was both ammunition and magazines. And it also affected, and what it said is that anybody who possesses even a grandfathered magazine was in possession of contraband and had to get rid of it. They had to turn it into the police. They had to move it out of the state. They had to sell it to a large capacity magazine dealer, or they had to destroy it. Now, the police department didn't want people coming in with boxes of 20 and 30 and 40 round 223 magazines. They did not want that to happen, so they weren't going to accept anything. Moving your magazine from your home to a place outside the state while you're in transit, you could get pinched, and then you'd have to go to court to prove that you were moving it out of the state in order to comply with the law. no large capacity magazine dealer is going to want to buy a whole bunch of used magazines when they have the ability to buy brand new ones to sell to law enforcement.
Yeah, and
so
then
there's
who
no
and then
market.
who they selling those to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so your only option was to destroy it with no compensation. So the lawsuit was filed with Judge Roger Benitez down in San Diego. He's a federal district judge who is a true constitutionalist, an originalist. He took on the case, and before the trial actually took place, California Rifle and Pistol Association requested an injunction that while the trial was taking place, the judge should enjoin the state from allowing the law to be in effect while the case was going on because it was so unconstitutional. So we wrote an amicus brief in support of that. The judge agreed. He agreed that this law is so unconstitutional that and he wrote out an amazing treatise. You can go to our website at gunownersca.com and see the ruling from Judge Benitez on Duncan v. Becerra on the original case. It was textbook history on the Second Amendment, historical, and he said it was illegal. So then the Attorney General, he started having kittens. He started had a conniption, and he demanded that the judge issue a stay on his ruling, or else he was going to go to the Ninth Circuit Court and ask for an emergency stay and not allow the injunction to force the state to ignore its own laws. Mm-hmm. So Judge Paredes, being the wise judge that he was, knowing that our chances were not really good at the Ninth, he said, okay, I will issue a stay, and it goes into effect 1 week from this Friday. And at that point, the Attorney General had no option to go to the Ninth to get a stay. So that gave us what was called Freedom Week. That mm-hmm. opened the window that continued to prevent the state from enforcing its magazine laws for 1 week. Mm-hmm. And as you well know, over 1 million magazines were bought, imported by Californians for everything, for Glock 17 round magazines, mm-hmm. Beretta 92s, and with their 13, 14, 15 round magazines. All the magazines flowed into the state of California, and then the stay went into effect, mm-hmm. which meant that the laws were still in effect. No more new magazines. Everybody who bought one during that week, even if they hadn't taken delivery yet, if you bought one during that week when you received it, all of those new magazines were legal.
Okay.
So the Attorney General at that point went to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals and wanted them to overturn the stay and to overturn the judge's ruling. Well, the fact of the matter is, the Ninth, they created a 3-judge panel, mm-hmm. and it had to be 2 Republican-appointed attorneys and 1 Democrat-appointed attorney. Mm-hmm. And 2-1, they ruled that Judge Benitez was absolutely 100% correct on the unconstitutionality of the ammunition laws of the state of the magazine laws of the state of California. And so.
Sorry, I think that's Richard. Mute
yes.
While you're distracting Sam with your gun sounds.
Sorry, I'm putting magazines together.
I know. Just mute it so he could, he's hearing all the freedom back there. He's like, what is happening?
I am. That's music to my ears. I mean, I could be listening to Ted Nugent or Richard assembling magazines, and it would be the same thing,
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I interrupted you. Yeah. That's
okay. The 3-judge panel ruled that Judge Benitez was correct and that his stay of the laws was a correct action. Now, when Judge Benitez issued his stay, he said that this stay will stay in place until the appeal by the Attorney General is completed. Mm-hmm. Now, just because the Ninth Circuit, the 3-judge panel, gave us a positive ruling, doesn't mean that the appeal has been completed. I am told by all of our legal attorneys, our experts, those
Okay.
people that have been doing the job for
That's the
us.
reason
They
why.
said,
That's the reason. I'm sorry, but that's the reason why. So a lot of people in California were ordering recently when it came out, it was defeated. People were ordering, and there were companies, I believe, that took orders, and I don't know if some of them probably shipped, but a lot of companies said we'll take the orders, but we won't ship until this all gets sorted. Right?
that's correct.
Okay.
There were a couple that I understand shipped, but they subsequently sent notices to those people saying, please do not accept this shipment or return it to us.
Okay.
Because what happened is everybody jumped the gun. Everybody got really excited, and we had every reason in the world to be excited because it was a huge victory.
For sure.
But we have to take the entire lawsuit, the whole case into perspective, and it goes back to the original stay from Judge Benitez. So we're trying to contact to see if what he meant was the 3-judge panel, if that suffices to meet the order that he had, or if he has to wait for the Attorney General to either ask for an en banc hearing, which is 11 judges from the 9th will set aside the ruling of the 3-judge panel, and they will try the case all over again, try on the injunction, or the Attorney General can go to the United States Supreme Court at this point.
If they take it.
If he does, that'd be a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
That'd be a beautiful thing.
So you think it'll be good? You think it'll be good if they go to the Supreme Court, right?
Well, if they go to the Supreme Court, given what the Supreme Court has been doing on Second Amendment cases, if the Supreme Court does not grant certiorari on this appeal by the Attorney General, that means that the ruling here in California is valid.
Oh, so everything stands because they refuse to take it.
That's right.
I see. Okay, so that'll be good.
Forever here in California, magazines will flow, they'll fall out of the sky with feathers and wings, and we will all avail ourselves of all of those wonderful things that Richard was so good at assembling, and makes me jealous to no extent.
Yes. But he just positioned those machine guns. He positioned those machine guns to tease you. He's still doing it. Rich is still,
Oh man, that looks like that might fit my Thompson, but probably.
So okay, so it'll be a good thing. I know that is it true that the Attorney General in California said that they would prosecute anyone that got their hands on those magazines?
I have not. I'll be honest with you. I have not actually seen that.
Okay.
I know without seeing that that would be the attitude that he would have. That he would prosecute anybody they could find. How they go about finding them, is a mystery to me. I mean,
well, we had weird stuff. Like there were people who bought during Freedom Week that, if you remember, there were stories of cops, like guys who had magazines during Freedom Week. Cops were threatening to arrest them or trying to take magazines and things like that, right? We've had those issues there. Yeah.
There were some people that enjoyed their freedom so much that they wanted to talk about it on social media, and that gave law enforcement officials plenty of opportunities to go and investigate these people and to see if they actually complied with the law and all of that kind of good stuff. So, when people are free, be free. Be free. You don't need to brag about it, because those people that want to take your freedoms away will come over and find out why you're so happy and cause you but trouble. But so we're asking everybody, please be patient. We've gotten everybody this far. People say, wow, you guys, you don't know, you get a victory and you're not taking advantage of it. Hey, listen, folks, we have spent CRPA, National Rifle Association, Gun Owners in California, and a whole bunch of other organizations have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars and probably well into the millions on this case to get us this far. And we will drag it across the finish line. But you guys are out there saying, we're going to order our magazines. All I can tell you is we're spending all our money on winning that lawsuit. And we're not going to have the resources to bail you out of jail when you get tense because you went on social media and said that you received your shipment of 20 15 round magazines for your Glock 19 during this right after Benitez.
Yeah, and
So,
they'll be happy to make an example of you in California. So Kathleen Music Lover says there was someone, a lawyer, who said that he had to respond by the 28th or lose. Is there a deadline like of the 28th, or if not, what's the timing that we're looking here for all of this to get sorted out? Just knowing that there are people out there who are impatient. What kind of time
Sure.
window are we looking at?
Hank, the court has deadlines that are kind of like the pirate's code. It's more of a guideline than you know? So
Oh boy.
the court is free
Parlay.
to ignore- Yes.
Yeah.
The parlay.
Parlay.
Yeah. They're free to ignore those suggestions for deadlines and stuff
Right,
like that.
right.
So no, the Judge Benitez's ruling stays in place until he lifts it. And this is the kicker that most people don't understand. The actual trial on the case hasn't even taken place in Judge Benitez's courtroom. This is all about the request for an injunction preventing the state from imposing the magazine laws because they are so unconstitutional while the trial takes place, up until the time that the trial takes place. It hasn't taken place yet. So, folks, keep your knickers on, hang on. We will continue to fight this.
Yeah.
So
a possible thing that could happen here, which I think is what you just said, is that they could decide to actually go and have this whole trial, and then that's going to take a certain amount of time.
Will start another appeal process because we already know how Judge Benitez is going to rule. He tipped his hat on ruling on the injunction. If he rules that way, the Attorney General is going to be able to appeal it to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. They will issue to a 3-judge panel. They will hear the case. They will make a ruling on that case. And then depending on what that ruling is, either if we don't like it, we're going to ask for an en banc panel. If they don't like it, they're going to ask for an en banc panel. And or the court itself, a majority of the sitting judges on the Ninth Circuit can what's called sua sponte. They can ask for their own 11-judge panel, even if we don't want one. Even if either side don't want one, they can ask for an 11-judge panel to be convened in order to rehear this case. Okay. And then the ultimate is going to the Supreme Court. So we still have a ways to go. We're at some exciting stages in this lawsuit, but we don't want anybody to get in trouble. The businesses, once they talked to the attorneys and everybody took a look at what the hard position is, everybody said, oh, none of us want to get in trouble here. Everybody's anxious. Everybody's cocked and locked, but we just have to wait for our legal teams to do their job. And we need to continue to support our legal teams because they have to eat, they have to drink, they have to go to the bathroom, they have to, send their kids to school, and it takes money to do that. So that's the stage that we are in right now in order to continue this fight.
Okay, all right, very good. This is law. This is law. This is how these things work. So yeah, it's aggravating, but Rich, did you have a question here? Did you want to make a comment? I don't know if you're still muted or not.
No, I'm not muted.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, did you want to jump in here before I go to something else or ask another question?
No, we can go to something else. I'm just getting magazines ready to ship.
Oh, not to California though. Not to California.
We want to make you rich. We want you to be able to ship those magazines to California, although they apparently go to firearms that we are not blessed to be able to own in California. But I'm sure you have some that can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you send a lot of stuff to Cali, Rich?
Yeah, actually, I do a fair amount.
Okay.
And I've talked to ATF and I've talked to the state of Florida, and they've both said it's legal here. Do what the hell you want.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Listen, there's a lot of these attorney generals now that are trying to sue, people getting involved in things, right? Look at the New York Attorney General with the NRA. situation, right? And she's going after other people and stuff like that. So when people have political aspirations, who knows what they would do. I'd hate to see you get caught up in that. And I think that's what a lot of these other companies are worried about, right? They don't want to have to drop all that money on lawyers now to have to go to court because someone from out of state is trying to go after them.
Hank, you're absolutely correct. They have a choice to make. We know that there is a huge pent-up market in California. Do we want to spend the money on building capacity so that when that dam breaks, and it will break, we can feed that and we can prosper and make Californians happy? Or do we want to have to spend that money to feed and pay for attorneys to defend us? And the time frame will be the same either way. So the water companies are going to say, hey, we know it's going to happen sooner or later. When it does, we're going to be prepared to fill that gap and let the magazines flow to California. And we're happy to make magazine manufacturers filthy rich throughout the world and buy anything that they can sell us that holds more than 10 rounds. So we'd be happy to do that. And the Golden State will transfer some of that gold to all of you manufacturers, and that'd be okay.
Yes. Let me get a couple of comments in here. James Miller gave us $5. He says, Hank, when this is all over, I'd love to see a program where people from free states can donate a mag to a good home in Cali.
Oh, man.
Like, sponsor a mag.
Program. Hank, if you and I put that deal together, man, 100% we're in.
Yes.
That would be very...
Yes, remind me, let me know if you want to do it. I'm down. We'll help. We'll get some mags out there to people. I'm sure we can get some companies to help us out with that, as well as the folks out there. Elfsters Rifles and Reloading has this comment. He said, "Smash that thumbs up, my friend. Keep the freedom push going. Sam, I'd give you a big kiss on the forehead if I was there in California." And then he's got the, I don't know what we call this. It's like the one eyebrow up emoji. Says, "I only go to such extremes for those that fight for freedom."
Oh,
so there you go.
Well, I'm gonna keep washing my forehead in anticipation of getting that kiss one of these days.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if I want to be there, but sounds good. Have you ever met Elfsters Rifles and Reloading?
Just the forehead.
Yeah, just the forehead. Yeah, just the forehead. That's all that's available right now. I don't know. Have you ever met Elfsters? Have you ever met Todd? I don't know if you have or not. Yeah. Okay. And Jen Champ Jr. says, "I have a few I could donate." There you go. Awesome. Yeah, let's get all this worked out, and then we'll see. We'll see what we can do with that. We'll make something happen.
Food for the door with the magazine bank. How cool is that?
Right. Yeah.
Help the needy. Yeah. Help the magazine poor here in California. We would.
Yeah.
We would
be
love
cool.
It.
Then the people get the magazines and they make a look. Here's your magazine. Here's your magazine playing in a nice little AK, having fun, working. The wink motorboater says it's the wink emoji. So there you go, the wink emoji. I use it all the time. I don't know what the hell it's called. I call it the skeptical face usually. So I don't know what people use the emojis for, but yes, okay, there you go. You're right, the wink emoji. Thank you, motorboater. Let's see. Kermit Loves Bacon says Connecticut will still be stuck with 10-round limit after California gets freedom. Oh man, I don't know if is there a similar push in Connecticut going to fight the magazine ban there? Do you know anything about that?
We're hearing that is one of the lawsuits that is in line. Mm-hmm. And what's going to happen is that if we get a good ruling from the 9th and we get a bad ruling from wherever Connecticut, the 2nd or the 1st, I'm not sure which one it is, mm-hmm. Then you have circuit courts that are at odds with each other. That improves the chances for this case to be accepted by the Supreme Court. And if they rule in support of the Second Amendment, that will not only be good for California and the 9th, which is Hawaii, Alaska, Washington, Oregon, Nevada, and Arizona. Um, it's not only good for them, but it'll be the law of the land across the nation. And most importantly, Hank, if the Supreme Court takes any gun case and in their ruling on whatever the issue is, whether it's magazines, ammunition, um, assault weapons, or whatever those are, or whatever the issue is, carry, concealed carry, open carry, whatever the case is, we've asked and will continue to ask the Supreme Court to rule on the level of scrutiny that they will direct all lower court judges, whether it's a appellate court or a district court, on what level of scrutiny they can use on Second Amendment cases. And we already have 2 judges that have said the only level of scrutiny that applies is not rational basis, not intermediate scrutiny, not even strict scrutiny, but the text, history, and tradition of the meaning of the words at the founding, when the Constitution was written and the Bill of Rights was written. What did "shall not be infringed" mean then? Not 1 hour later, but at that point. And if they rule on that, we will win across from shore to shore on all of the crazy gun control.
Because "shall not be infringed," which is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. That's how close we are to getting total victory.
Okay.
Total victory.
Okay, so let me get this in. Grey Wolf has a comment, says, being in California, it's a catch-22. Fixed magazine of 20 rounds. Is that the argument because it's too late to register as an assault rifle? I'm not sure.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, if you've got a magazine that holds more than 10 rounds, do not put it into a California compliant gun. And those people who have these guns know what those are. They've got the Thorsten stocks, or they've got the shark tail behind the pistol grip, and they don't have a flash hider. They've got a muzzle brake. They don't have a forward pistol grip. They don't have a grenade. If you have one of those California compliant guns, do not put in any magazine that holds more than 10 rounds, or you are manufacturing a California assault weapon. Now, if you have a gun that is featureless, that is considered featureless, you can use your 20 and 30 round magazines. But we're talking different guns, and now it's not your AK platform or your AR platform, but you're talking something completely different.
Yeah, it's guns built for people that drink their own pee, basically. Okay, all right. That was a little off the reservation.
Thank you, awesome.
Kermit Loves Bacon says, Hank, how will this case help other limited states? I think you touched on this, but maybe if we could just do it more specifically. How does this help other states?
Well, first of all, this ruling will apply not only in California, but the entire Ninth Circuit, which is, I think it's 14 Western states are all part of the Ninth Circuit. And what it does is it starts to create this situation where you have one appellate court that has one ruling, and you have another appellate court that has a directly opposed ruling, and it creates the kind of friction that the Supreme Court is charged to resolve. But more importantly, as some of these cases go into some of these appellate courts where this issue has not been considered yet, they're going to take a look at what has happened in California and hopefully make their rulings based on the results of California. So absolutely it can influence those that are considering cases. And when there are opposing views from different appellate courts, that is what the Supreme Court, their number one task is to resolve issues that are where appellate courts are at odds with each other.
Yeah. So hopefully they see that it didn't work out in other places. So, I mean, I don't know if that's going to stop them, but definitely won't go that route necessarily.
Right.
Yeah. Sam, if I can get you to just center yourself a little bit. There you go. Okay, awesome. Right there is good. Okay, so let's see. DCG44 says, I say we pay Walter to laser engrave donated mags with a program logo. Okay. And Night Train says, my next question is if donating a magazine will be recognized as a tax write-off. Okay.
No, it will not recognize the tax write-off, because we are a 501c4, which is not tax deductible. We are a nonprofit. You would have to be donating them to Gun Owners Foundation if you want to get a tax write-off. But unfortunately, we can't large capacity magazines to pay attorneys.
Yeah.
they only accept the coin of the realm.
Yeah.
And at this point, magazines are not equal to gold and silver. And
coin of the realm is the coin of the realm.
It depends on the attorney too. I know a couple of attorneys that'll take product.
Yeah.
Well, that's
true.
That's the beautiful thing. We're going to have to make sure we know who those guys are.
Yeah.
Yannick Stoner says his Keltec RDBC is featureless. That's exactly who I was talking about.
Right.
That's the whole selling point.
Featureless,
yeah.
Featureless, you can put in a large capacity, a magazine that holds more than 10 rounds, and you are not in violation of California law.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see what else we got going on here. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. Let's see. I want to go to something else that's I see this in the Truth About Guns. Unless you've got some other stuff about California, but this is in the Truth About Guns. It says Bloomberg's every town and 4 cities sue ATF over ghost gun regulation. Goes on, 4 cities have sued the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms over the legal sales of so-called ghost gun kits. The federal lawsuit was filed in the Southern District of New York by the cities of Chicago, Syracuse, San Jose, which is California, and Columbia, South Carolina, along with Michael Bloomberg's gun control operation, Every Town for Gun Safety. The cities don't like the fact that 80% kits can be freely sold and assembled by anyone without going through an FFL for a NICS background check. So have you been tracking any of this kind of thing going on?
Absolutely. Ghost guns was a term that was coined here in California by the California State Legislature, just like the term assault weapons was coined by the California Legislature. We pointed out that in the history of the lexicon of warfare and military, the term assault weapons was never found, not in the German manuals. Assault rifle, yes, but not assault weapons. That was coined in order to demonize black guns. They did the same thing with this, so they're coming up with the ghost guns, trying to make them look deadly. We pointed out in committee that ghost guns have been built since before the foundation of the country. Since before 1776, Americans have been building ghost guns legally without stop, and it's still legal to do it. So they're suing because somebody is able to do something that every American has been able to do since before the country was founded. Now, they say they always say we're finding more of these ghost guns they're rounding more of these things up. First of all, they don't say that they're being used in commissions of a crime, because they're not. They're not. So they go and they arrest somebody who is a criminal, and they go and they find that they might have 3 or 4 ghost guns, but that isn't what they arrested them for. And the ghost gun is mainly a self-built gun. Either you did it from an 80%er, or you built it from scratch. If you're that cool and talented, I know Richard is. I could just see the tool work behind him. He can build it.
I can build whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah, good luck with trying to stop Richard. That's not getting you anywhere.
And so, Hank, these cities are trying to throw slop on the wall and see what sticks. The unserialized, personally manufactured firearms in America are not a crime problem. They hate the fact that we have enough freedom that we can do this if we want to. That's what they hate. Not because they're in sort of a crime problem, because even the whole category of long guns, ARs, AKs, Model 70 Winchester, Remington 700s, they compose such a small portion of the guns that are used in actual commissions of a crime that ghost guns would, if they even are a blip, they are such a small portion of that, they are not a crime problem. They're not a crime problem.
Yeah.
If they're afraid of them, why aren't they afraid of people going out and buying diesel fuel and fertilizer? Because the combination of those two can be used as a weapon very easily, and has been and has killed many people nationwide. Far more people have died from a combination of diesel fuel and fertilizer than have from the use of ghost guns. So it's just another straw dog that they've thrown out there in order to try to demonize guns.
You could turn anything into a weapon. I mean, someone dropped off a bunch of bricks in all these protests.
Yeah.
You know, and we know for a fact that people have used those. A couple of things. So let's go in here. Poe Izzy says California sucks except for the tacos. Boom. There you go.
Tacos in California do not suck. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I'm the taco king here.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. Let me remind everyone to smash the thumbs ups out there. Don't do it for me. Don't do it for Rich. Do it for Sam's mustache. Because it's awesome. Kathleen Music Lover says, tell Sam he has a awesome mustache. Boom, there you go. That's from Kathleen Music Lover.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're just jealous, Hank.
Yes, I know. I am jealous, you know, but
with that thing on your lip, that dirt.
This is it's the beginning. It's the dream. It's the dream.
It's cool as all get out, man.
It's the 80% version.
Yeah. Oh, you're so cold, you bastard. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna get you back for that one.
Yeah.
I'll get you back for that one. Let's see.
If you come on my goddamn show again.
Of course. Let's see. Grey Wolf says, speak on Fresno banning ARs. Is that
Fresno does not? There have been multiple jurisdictions like San Jose and Fresno are trying to ban ARs. They're going to do what they're going to try to do. We have a preemption law in the state of California. It is illegal for cities and counties, communities to ban guns that are not banned by the state. So we keep here. Fresno's a weird place. It's the city is a wacko place, but the county is a pretty cool county. So it's one of those conundrums out there. Haven't heard any bigger peeps since Corona. Whether they're going to pursue that, but who knows? We're watching and waiting.
Yeah. And then Poe Izzy says, I think a ghost gun is more expensive to make, and he's like, yes or no. What do you guys think about? I mean, that obviously is a separate subject from what we're talking about here, but you guys have any opinion on that?
Yeah, it's a lot more expensive to make an 80% gun or a gun out of a parts kit than it is to buy one off the shelf. You know, I get people calling all the time. You know, I want to build an Uzi out of a parts kit, and it's like, good luck with that. You know.
Yeah, there's going to be a couple.
You're going to go buy an IMI.
Yeah.
You can buy an AR variant of really good quality, in the neighborhood of $350 to $450. You know, when you're talking about an 80% part, you're looking at an $80 part there. Your barrels, if you're going to buy a quality barrel that's equal to one of the not very expensive ARs, you're going to spend $100 there. You'll easily spend a lot more money on an 80%er than you will on a AR.
Yeah. People are doing it because some people are doing it out of curiosity or just pure fun, which is totally fine. But there's people in certain states that are doing it out of necessity.
Yeah.
You
That's
know?
their only option.
Yeah.
That's their only option. And you got what you got to do.
Brick says Sam looks like he wears a cowboy hat.
I do. I've got 5 of them for different occasions, including my camouflage cowboy hat that's signed by Ted Nugent.
Yeah.
So
I see you're wearing Cryptech. Cryptech is awesome, by the way. Yeah.
We at GOC, we are Cryptech only. We all have our everybody who volunteers for us, and we get Cryptech shirts. We put our logo on it, and when I hunt, I'm Cryptech from my socks to the top of my head.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's called coordinate. You got to coordinate. So, okay, one thing. So I cut you off. You were talking about what was it you got from Nugent, from the Nuge?
Oh man, I've got my camouflage cowboy hat.
Oh.
That he signed. He's been a friend of mine for a long time.
Okay.
And I see him on an average about once a year, and I talk to him regularly. And last time I saw him, I said, "Oh, Ted, come on." He said, "What do you want, Sam?" Sign my hat. Sign something. So he signed my hat. And he said, okay. Don't wash it. Don't let it go in the rain. I said, all right.
You can spray some stuff on it and hold it in. So do you actually cowboy? Do you actually practice cowboyhood? Or
well, let's see. I'm a life member of the Cowboy Shooting Society, and I only have Wrangler jeans. The only shoes I wear other than hunting boots are cowboy boots.
Mm-hmm.
As a younger man, I rode a lot more horses than I do now. Mm-hmm. And when I hunt in Wyoming and Colorado, I enjoy using horses. I own 2 Lastros, and I have 25 acres. And one of these days, I'm going to put some more cows and get some horses and do it all over again.
Okay.
When I grow up.
Yeah. Here's the question that decides everything: are you bow-legged?
Because
then you're official. Then no one can argue.
Only partially. So I think my grown since I've been fighting for the Second Amendment, I hadn't had enough time to be as much of a cowboy as I have.
Right.
And so my legs have kind of grown back together a little bit. But there was a time there when my spurs would jingle with every step, whether I tried to allow them to or not. So.
Yeah. Okay.
The answer is yes. I'm bow-legged. So.
All right. That's what. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So you're official. You're officially a cowboy. Yeah. We won't get in deep to parts that jingle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was the Single Action Shooting Society was what I was thinking of as a life member. I'm jalapeno hotshot. So
yeah.
My nom de shoot. So.
Okay. Flying Rich says, I'm printing an AR-9 now, cheaper than a real AR-9. You know what? If you only get one shot out of it, Flying Rich, I don't know. It's probably worse. If you get one shot at this... Huh?
Technically, he can be correct, but I don't know, like you said, how many shots can you get out of it?
Yeah, exactly. That's the question right there. If it can only do one shot, it's actually more expensive. But okay, we'll see.
You've got to refigure it and put some steel plates in it so it'll hold up better.
Yeah, I know the last one he built blew up, so I don't know how many shots. Let us know, Flying Rich, how many shots did you get out of that one? And then calculate the cost from there, And then you have to calculate the cost of, I don't know which, is he on the 3rd or 4th one that he's printing right now? So that you got to add that to the cost. If it takes you in the developmental process 20 of those, let's see.
Let him go. I mean, more power to him. If he can develop one that works, that's awesome. I mean, you can do a plastic lower, but beyond that, you can't do a plastic barrel, and you can't do a plastic a bolt carrier, and so you can't make plastic springs either. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not knocking it at all. I think it's cool that there's folks out there doing it, and hopefully the technology is coming on. And listen, maybe one of these days we'll get to a point where we can print up some springs and things like that, or your printer can reinforce certain parts.
Yeah.
With metal and all that. Maybe we'll get there, right? It's all part of the process. So,
freedom.
Go ahead. Yes, freedom.
Freedom.
Amen. Yeah. Amen. Motorboater says, tell me that he has a Stetson.
I have a Stetson. I have several Resistals and a Cowboy Country, and I have one other one that is so old that it's 5X Beaver Pelt, and I don't even remember what brand it is. I've worn it out on the inside. So.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I have a Stetson.
There you go.
I love it.
I guess that makes you more official now. What were you gonna say? Rich?
I forget.
Oh,
gosh. You can you can print steel receivers now. It just costs $1 million for the equipment.
There's that. There is that.
Yeah. You can do it. But...
Yeah. Well, listen, that's going to come down. I don't know how many years it's going to take, but the price of that's going to come down. It's going to be interesting, to see where this technology goes. And by the way, that's why they're trying to ban everything. But it's too late. Yeah. The genie's been out of the bottle a long time ago.
Yeah.
So them trying to ban all this stuff.
The other thing is, how do you ban it without destroying the manufacturing industry? And I'm not talking guns. I'm talking everything. Because everybody is moving into 3D printing prototypes.
Yes. Yeah, for everything.
So you can see, feel, and touch, Okay, that's right. This doesn't feel right, doesn't look right, change it. Because it's so much easier than, machining it.
Yeah.
Then when they get it all ready, then they machine it or stamp it or, whatever they're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think if you look at it, and I don't know, this is probably being set up in California, Sam, you could tell us, but there's a lot of places now that want to ban certain machines, or make it difficult for someone to own a machine that's not a guy that's a firearm manufacturer like Rich. No one else. You can't have a lathe. You can't have this. You can't have that without some kind of special license, because they realize that it's not just the laser printers. It's anything. A drill soon is going to be. You can't have a drill. You can make a gun with that.
Yeah, and there's I'm in a number of Facebook groups and other groups of non-firearms. There's some of us in there, but just machinist groups, machine shop groups, and a lot of these guys are worried. I mean, people don't realize how many garage-based machine shops there are, where it's a guy and his kid or something.
A lot.
And their shop is in their garage. They got one or two machines, and they've said if they pass that law, we're out of business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we don't even do anything with guns.
Yeah, well, that's why we have to be aware of everything going on here. Are you seeing any of that yet, Sam?
No, not yet. They haven't banned lathes and mills. There have been some considerations in the legislature on banning and controlling the 3D printers, but they got an immediate negative response from a lot of the Silicon Valley companies and high-tech companies that are using 3D modeling. It is like you said, the genie is out of the bottle. Everybody is using them in order to do their prototypes, and once they get the prototype in, they laser scan it, and they take that program, put it in their CNC machine, push the button, and where it might take you days to 3D print a part, they throw it in the CNC, and in 15 minutes, choom, the part's out and done and perfect. So they're sometimes I think that they'd be okay with taking us back to the bug and the
horse and buggy
pony.
Yeah.
Horse and buggy area, because those of us who look to technology to advance in different areas, we're dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can liken this to the drones, right? So I remember a couple of years ago I was covering drone stuff, and drones were getting big. Like I went to the broadcasting show, and it was like going to SHOT Show in 2014, 15, something like that. I went to SHOT Show. Everyone was making an AR.
Yeah.
I got literally snowblind. There were so many ARs. So I went to the broadcasting show that everyone was making a drone. And drones, I was like, wow, this is amazing. These drones are going to, everyone was thinking, man, we're going to get technology soon. This thing's just going to be able to follow you. It's going to be like a little orb. It won't make any noise. You could do this. You could do that. But then they decided, we're going to start making you have to have a license to have a drone.
Yeah.
And I
they
said,
destroyed that.
yeah, I was
industry.
like, you know what? That's it. I'm out. And I remember I made a video about this, and a lot of people got really mad at me because I was like, I'm done. I'm not going to be involved in this if, even the industry, the drone industry was supporting government saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to make people have to get licenses." I was like, you guys should not do this. And yes, that's almost toast now. There's still drones coming out, but no one cares because there's all these like people get tickets all the time. I've seen big YouTubers that do drone stuff, and they get hit. There was a guy I think that got hit with like $7,000 worth of ticket, and he's like, "What's the point of this?" So they kill that industry. It's out there, but the progression of that has slowed down massively because of what they did there.
Yeah.
Going
back to 3D printing for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
The Ruger LCP, and what is it? The LCR, the revolver.
Okay.
Both those guns were designed in 3D models, printed in plastic. They printed 3 copies of them. And they were passed around Ruger for everybody to see, feel, touch, handle, made some changes. Then they sent them up to Pine Tree Casting, the 3D models. They printed them in low melt plastic, cast all the parts that they could cast, made the springs, and built the first 3 or 4 guns with no machining at all. They were rough and everything else. I just happened to one of the engineers up there I worked with at Armory in the 90s. And I had been talking to him, and he's like, "Oh my God, it is so cool. You've got to look at this stuff." And this was, when did those guns come out?
The LCP. Well, one thing I'll tell you, before they 3D printed it, the LCP, they basically scanned a Caltech P3AT, but you left that out of your story.
Yeah.
But yes, when did the first? Because they're on Gen 2 now, which, by the way, they made a better version. They improved it, and we didn't get a better version from Caltech. That really is annoying. But I think we're in Gen 2. Someone tell us when the LCP first came out. Let me see. I'm gonna guess LCP is like, what was that, like 2012, 2013? I don't know. Let's see what the answer is. Right? It's in the 2000s, right?
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
Because that engineer died about 5 years ago.
Oh, wow. Sorry to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this technology is coming along fast. Now we've got, there's Inconel, we've got people 3D printing suppressors and things like that, parts. And it's a great way for you to make something, even if it doesn't last that long. You can rapid prototype, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is the way to look at it. So I think.
And my mom, my mom's a goldsmith. And they've moved into an old folks home, and she gave up her studio.
Okay.
And she's, all bummed out, and she wants to design. And I said, so design. I said, we'll look around. We'll get you the right design program. They've got ones for artists that are real easy to do. Get a 3D printer. And I talked to her. I talked to her caster, which she used a lot. And her caster said, "Oh, you don't need a 3D printer unless you just want to look at it first."
Right.
They said, "Just send us the file and we'll print it and cast it and polish it and send it to you."
Oh, cool. If your mom's wants something to keep her busy, I need a Lola chain in gold. And if you guys don't know, Lola is Lifestyles of the Locked and Loaded, which is the name of this channel. So I'm just saying.
That's awesome. So the LCP first came out in 2008.
Okay.
2008. Wow. 2008. Yeah.
12 years ago.
Yeah, 12. And then so LCP2 was what, last year or 2 years ago? I think maybe like 2 years ago, something like that. But yes, we're getting a lot of stuff is speeding up because of that. But if these guys get their way, man, it's going to be very difficult for anyone to even get a printer because how are they going to exactly figure out what you're making with your printer?
Right.
How are they going to know this? So the next
They
thing you
can't.
know, your printer starts ratting on you. This is what they did with the drones. I don't know if people realize this. Eventually, the drone manufacturers were volunteering for the drone to track where you were flying them. And that's going on. I know Flying Rich says he has a drone license, so he could like either confirm or deny what I'm saying. But there are there's drones tracking, and the drones are limiting people by GPS and stuff like that of where they could fly and what they could do. Once you start complying with this nonsense, you basically inhibit your own industry that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Motorboater says, I'll a motorboater chain. I don't know if that's I'll send you a motorboater chain. So there you go. Yes. I have by the way, so this is completely aside. I can share, so the Lotlau logo that we have right now is just, Lotlau spelled out, L-O-T, L-A-L. So I actually designed a new one. I'll share it with you guys if you want to see this. And I'll see who can pick up on what the inspiration of this. It's not up on Ballistic Ink yet. If you go to Ballistic Ink if you want to see our stuff, but I will go to my phone and share this with you guys. And I don't know whether or not you can see this, Sam. But let me put it up here for the people. Boom! There's the coming Lotlau t-shirt. Who can see that out there? I don't know if you guys can see that or not out there. I'll leave it up for a little while. If you're looking, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think inspires this. Let's see. I'll go in close for you and give you a little. Take a look at that. What do you think this is inspired by? Sam, can you see that at all? I don't know if you can see it at all.
I cannot.
So here, I'll hold this up to.
Oh, there it is.
To my camera so you can see it right there. So that's Lotlau, Lifestyles of the Locked and Loaded. I don't know. Let me see if I could. There you go. That'll give you a clearer.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh man.
Yeah. So what do you think that's inspired by for the folks out there? I'll give everyone a couple of minutes while we're talking here to see if you could figure out what's the inspiration behind that.
Fentanyl.
Huh?
Fentanyl.
Fentanyl. What? It's like a Rorschach test for Rich.
Quack.
We're gonna figure out stuff. Okay, Chris Bullis says Magnum PI. There you go. Johnny Kamikaze says Magnum PI. So yeah, it's inspired by Magnum PI. Here, I'll just show you guys here again. So it's inspired by Magnum PI. So basically, that's the Ferrari, the 380 that Magnum PI has.
Yeah.
Magnum PI is actually in there. There's a scene from the opening of Magnum PI in there. There's actually a 1911, the same. He used a Colt. What was it? A Colt. What was it? Was it a Colt government something? That's in
Government
there?
model, I think.
Yeah. And then the Lotlau itself. So this is the Boog Lotlau. So that's a Hawaiian pattern inside the lettering, but that's the same kind of Hawaiian pattern that Magnum PI wore on his shirts in the show. If you ever watch, that was one of my favorite shows growing up. I'm sorry, I love Magnum PI. Yeah,
you weren't American and you weren't.
Yeah.
If you didn't like Magnum PI.
Yeah, it just it had all the stuff. Badass dude, drove a Ferrari, lived in Hawaii, beautiful women. Yeah, he had a big mustache. He kicked asses. What more? He had buddies. It was awesome. I love that show. So, so there you go. So Imposter says Magnum PI meets Boogaloo. Yeah. And James Miller says, actually, I guess it was Robin Masters' Ferrari. Yes. That's true.
Who was actually Higgins.
What's better, man? Like, why have your own Ferrari when you can have someone else's?
Yeah.
Nothing beats
It's like a boat. Why have your own when you can use somebody else's?
Yeah. He had Robin Masters' mansion. Might as well have the Ferrari. So anyway, that's, you guys got a sneak peek of that. That's not even out yet. But I did the design for that, put that together. So hopefully you guys will see that and you'll get up on Lotlau and you'll know what it is. We got to get the Lotlau movement going. So this is your chance right now. We're gonna discontinue the shirts that are in that are on Ballistic Ink. Those are just it just has plain lettering, and what I'm doing is I'm gonna keep building it and keep changing it. So if you want to get the classic, you got to get those before we discontinue it. I'm not trying to make anyone buy anything, but I am actually. So whatever.
It's like Coke and New Coke.
Yeah.
We'll bring this shirt out and it'll flop, so you bring back the original.
Yeah, that's fine. I sell maybe one shirt a week. Yeah, so it's all good. So and Len Holt says now he's all about reverse mortgages. Well, I mean, you can't be 100% perfect. Yeah. So there it goes. All right. So, okay, we had a little distraction there. Let's see. Any other news stuff going on? Maybe, Rich, you got some things on the news that you've been paying attention to?
Just the peaceful protests.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just waiting for the government to just say, well, what I want them to do is go surround all the rioters with, just go surround them with belt feds and flamethrowers. Just light them up.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Don't hide how you feel about this at all.
Yeah. You know.
But it is getting crazy out there. I mean, we're going from things happening that maybe people, I don't know, man. Whenever these things happen, first of all, I don't trust what the media is saying.
No.
Right? The media is obviously just trying to gin up everything and make it worse. And I think when we look at it, we may see details that we're like, hey, this is not cool. We don't like this thing or that thing. But I think that the end result of like destroying your own towns and cities and things like that and burning them down, like I'm seeing, there was a church that was on fire and it had a big sign out there saying Black Lives Matter. They're burning the church down. Obviously a black church burning it down.
Yep.
So at some point here we have to stop that, but the people have to be able to defend themselves. And this is really what it comes down to. If the people in these places, that these are their towns, these are their cities, and they might be upset about something happening, but they don't want to destroy where they live, what can they really do? Especially when you see we've got Antifa, Black Lives Matter going in there and backing up and instigating a lot of this rioting and looting, right? And and picking fights with people there that want to defend those places. So, yeah. So, are you looking at any of this, Sam?
Oh yeah, man. Can't avoid it. I think we're approaching a seminal moment in at least in our generation, where the admonition from our founding fathers that freedom is something that you have to fight for, you have to strive for, and then the admonitions from those who studied for a long time and understood that there were people in this world who don't like us, our form of government. They will do everything they can to destroy our economy and our form of government. They are against capitalism. They are against our Republican form of democracy, with representation, and where we, the people, are the ones who are in charge. It's abhorrent to them, and they have finally, the stars and the moon and the planets all lined up in a perfect storm. We have two hurricanes down in the Gulf. It was like 5 hurricanes got together and hit America all at the same time, when we got COVID, which gave the hard left an opportunity and the government to exert its. We had the police shootings that instigated that gave rise to the anti-law enforcement movement and all of the people that have been following that. We've seen the riots to take over individual cities and communities, and now the threat to go into urban and rural and suburban America. We've got to say enough is enough. We've got to say we've got to be prepared to protect ourselves, protect our homes and our families, and And there comes a point in time where you have to draw the line in the sand and say, I'm not going to kneel for the national anthem. I'm going to fight.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to argue your point, and I'm going to say that you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing you can do to change my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to fight, it's called the ballot box. It's called an election. Let's fight.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to fight hard to support those people who are fighting for freedom and to preserve liberty and to preserve our form of government and our economy. And you guys fight for your Marxist, leftist, Leninist dogma. And you know what? I'm here to call it what it is. Those groups are organized by very efficient, well-trained operatives. Yeah. The vast majority of the people we see running up and down those streets carrying flares and throwing tear gas and wearing masks and throwing Molotov cocktails are what are considered useful idiots. They're there in order to help move forward this agenda of disrupting America. Right now, the Kremlin and Beijing are dancing in their boots that there is this turmoil in America. But we're stronger than this, and the fabric of America, those of us who believe in our Constitution and our form of government, and that we have been blessed amongst above all people throughout the creation of this earth to live in a free country. When we all have had it up to here and say enough is enough, and we all stand up together, the other side will be shown for what it is, a very small segment of very vocal hard left minority of people, and we will restore things. So yeah, we're seeing it here in California. You're not seeing California's. We've got our left wing crazies. Unfortunately, we've elected them here, and they were in the legislature. So
I agree with everything you said. I think, though, from the beginning of the elections, from election night, we've kind of had this insurgency like we've probably never seen. I mean, even, there were a lot of us that didn't support Obama when he was president for 8 years, but nothing like this ever.
No.
The kind of rhetoric
he was still
and things
the president.
Yeah, the things that were going on out there was insane. And now the things that you see, that the things that they say about the president, things, the way that they treat the news and all that kind of stuff, the way they go after people in his family, they're breaking their own rules.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that is, along with everything else you said, that's a part of it, that there's lots of people out there, whether you agree or not with the presidency, there's a lot of people out there that are feeling all those pressures come together and creating that perfect storm and thinking somehow someone who's been president for 4 years and the entire time has had to deal with all of this, and before that, the things that were done, that person has to do with all your problems that you have, that you feel has been going on for a long time. It's not that person. So I think people really need to learn how to separate it. But yes, ultimately, Sam, I think you're right. We're going to come to a point where, all the voting is done, all the arguing and conversations and all that's done, and people just are going to have to make decisions about whether or not they're going to accept things.
You're right. Do you Tom Selleck movie down in Australia,
Quigley Down Under?
Quigley Down Under.
In the last scene, when the British troops came in to arrest Quigley for dealing with the bad guys, and all of the Aborigines showed up and lined up all the way around the entire valley there. And the rabble-rousers, who in this case were the British, and the folks there, looked around and said, well, this is not a situation that we are going to survive, so we're just going to mosey on down the road.
Right,
and
exactly.
That is when these things happen, we have to get every law-abiding citizen, if we all were organized enough and had the gumption to surround these communities and let them see what it is that they have to face, they will be the cowards that they are, and they will shut up and go away.
Yeah.
And I look forward to that time. I will be standing shoulder to shoulder. I know you guys will be there.
I agree with that. I would like to see the folks out there in those cities start. I think they have the ability to start that, right? Because everyone, like I've said it many times, I think like this all starts at home. You know, you need to start with yourself and those around you and be prepared. It makes no sense to leave where you are and go somewhere else to fight someone else's battles and they themselves don't want to do it. But yes, if I think that if there's good folks over there that have had enough of this in the places where this is still happening and they go, listen, we're done with this. This is over. From right now, we're gonna close this down. These guys want to come through here. We're gonna say no. The police refuse to protect us because guess who they're taking orders from? Whoever's leading those cities. All these cities are leftist, Democrat-run, liberal cities. The police are taking orders from those guys to stand back and let everything get burned down. So if you don't stand up and do that, then the rest of us, us leaving where we are and coming and fighting for you, I don't know how much sense it makes. But I do agree with you, Sam. If those people started doing that, then the rest of us would go, okay, if you need our help, we're on the way.
We're there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would like to see that, I would really like to see the people in these places say, we've had enough of this. We can't, because it's going to be unrecoverable.
Yeah.
There's a point where you're not coming back from that. And even if you think that somehow the government's going to step in and bail you out.
The government's never going to bail you out.
Where's that coming from? Like, even if money got taken from someone and sent over there, those guys are just eagerly waiting for that money to come in for them to misappropriate it. You're still going to be in that situation and you're not going to recover. So,
Hank, I want people to understand that we are not calling for armed rebellion. That's not what we're calling for here. We're calling for Americans to stand up for what's right. And if it requires carrying a firearm to protect yourself, that's one thing. But we are not calling for an assault of these people. We're calling for people to let their voices be heard, and sometimes with their own presence, so that they see the masses of people that are on our side versus the small group of people that are on their side. Parents who allow their kids to go out and run in the streets at night, shame on you. Be parents. You're allowing your kids to go into dangerous situations. These people are now shooting each other, and you need to take responsibility for that.
Yeah, I'd like to see the reality of that. I would like to know how many parents that's not going to happen. If I realize my kids were somewhere doing that, I'm going to go get their asses.
Yeah.
So
and they're going to get a good, well-deserved beating.
Yeah, I would contend that there's a lot of kids out there doing this stuff that are either not kids or kids that are disconnected somehow from their parents, and there's someone maybe funding this, because I don't know who loves their kids that they're going to put them out there in these situations and encourage them to do stuff like this. Protesting is one thing. Take political action, that's one thing. Deciding to do something and taking responsibility for the places that you live and what's happening or fixing the problems, that's one thing. But when you decide to go around destroying everything, burning everything down, robbing people, assaulting people, we're in a completely different zone. And anyone who cares about their kids is not actually allowing that. And of course, you've got some kids that feel like, hey, we're adults and we could do whatever we want to do. When it comes to my family, I'm a dictator.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no such thing. Like my older son is 21. He keeps asking me when he could get a piercing, and I'm like, when you pay all your bills, when you pay all your bills, you'll do that. But right now, I'm saying no. He's like, well, I'm an adult. I don't think so. Legally, technically.
You like living here?
Yeah, So, and I think that's just because I care, right? Ultimately, that's not a big deal. the piercing thing's not a big deal to me, but these are going to always be my kids.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
and of course they're growing up and becoming their own people. But the idea that there's really people out there that love their children and they're okay with their children getting involved in this, I don't know. That's got to be a small percentage of people that really feel that way. That's got to be the people who would leave their kids with Michael Jackson for a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah.
No, it's what was the one kid that
What's
his
that? What's
grandma?
that? I'm sorry. What was that, Sam?
I'm not going to comment on that.
You're gonna.
I'm not touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Go ahead, Rich.
You know, what was that one? That one kid had the fake bulletproof vest that his grandma bought him.
Oh no, I didn't hear about this.
And yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago or something, a month ago.
Really?
And she bought it for him, you know, to wear at the protests.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then she saw a video of him beating somebody up or something, and she called the cops and turned his ass in.
Mm-hmm.
Good for her.
Yeah.
And she said, "I got the receipt for the vest right here."
Okay, you need to send me a link to that. Yeah.
I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah. But that's what I think. I think once parents out there realize what's actually happening with their kids and what they're up to, they're going to go, yeah, this, no way. You know, this is not going to happen like that. So, let's see what other things are going on out there. What are the folks out there? You know, what are the folks out there talking about? Let's see here. Sam, do you have any other California stuff that maybe we didn't cover?
One, I just want to touch on this real quickly. Not only the magazine ban lawsuit we have going on, we also have Rody versus Becerra. Here in California, if you can believe it, you have to register and go through a background check to buy ammunition. Mm-hmm. And if you have not purchased a firearm and you are not on the state automated firearm system list, you either have to have a live scan done and pay like $19 each time you buy ammunition.
What's a live scan?
Well, live scan that's the electronic fingerprints.
Okay.
They roll fingerprints and that only works for one time purchase. Every time you buy, you have to pay an extra $19 to go through that thing. If you don't have a real ID California driver's license, or you don't have a valid passport or a certified and stamped birth certificate, that you don't have the kind of identification. The system is so jacked up that the law was put into place by Gunmageddon and Proposition 63, requiring background checks. You can only buy ammunition from a licensed California ammunition vendor. You cannot have it delivered via a mail order. You cannot drive to Nevada or Arizona or Oregon or anywhere else and buy ammunition and bring it into the state. You have to buy it and go through this background check system. So the Attorney General touted that in the first several months of the operation of this law, they did over 300,000 background checks for ammunition purchases. Mm-hmm. And he was touting that they stopped 750 bad people who should not be able to buy ammunition from buying ammunition, people who were actually criminally, they thought were ineligible to buy ammunition. 300,750 they stopped. Mm-hmm. But what he didn't say is that out of the 300,000, 100,000 of them who were law-abiding citizens who had no crimes in their background, no disqualifiers, were also not able to buy ammunition because the system is so stupid that it cannot tell the difference between, on your identification, AVE, NUE, or AVE period, or AV. It doesn't know that all three of those things mean avenue. So if the record that they have at the Department of Justice does not match the record that is on your driver's license or your birth certificate or your passport, if it's not exactly the same, it kicks it back that you're ineligible for purchase.
So
also,
so basically, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If you've never purchased a gun from a dealer in the state of California, like a lot of people who own hundreds of guns, but they got them from their grandfather and their great-father, and they've never needed to buy any guns. They already have 1911s, but they were all older models. So they are not on the California firearms.
They're just trying to get ammo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're not on the list, there's no possible way for those people to legally buy ammunition in the state of California. So, again, we took the California Rifle and Pistol Association, our Flame On partners, took this case. They got Kim Rhodey, our 6-time Olympic champion medalist, the most decorated shooting medalist in the shooting sport under the Olympics. She agreed to file this lawsuit with CRPA and NRA funding and our support to overturn this law. And the Judge Benitez, we took it to the same judge, and he said, oh my gosh, this is even worse than the other one. Here you have people that the Department of Justice says are totally eligible to buy ammunition, but there's no process, legal ability for them to buy it in the state of California. They can't buy it. So the judge says it's clearly unconstitutional, and so he issued an injunction on this one, but immediately to the stay because it was going to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals.
But that disenfranchised a third of the people following their own rules. I don't agree with the rules at all, but a third of the people following their rules were disenfranchised by that. And there's a couple of questions. I have one, but I'll ask motorboaters right now. He says, do you have to go through that system if you're buying the components?
Starting next year, yes. Now, any precursor part that you buy, you have to go through a licensed precursor part dealer and purchase your parts through one of these dealers. What a precursor part is going to be established by the Department of Justice. It could go all the way down to springs and screws. So if you do that, now there's a bill that's being considered in the legislature that will allow you to buy one precursor part every 30 days. So it's going to take you several years to finish building your 80% lower into a full. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So it's nuts.
Let me ask you this question. What do you have to do to vote in the state of California?
To vote?
Yeah.
Up until election day itself, you can register to vote online, and a ballot will be mailed to your location. We still have some counties that have voting at the voting booth, where you go to a voting booth and you vote. But we have had absentee ballot voting in California for a long time. That is when you request a ballot to come to your home. What now is being considered is just sending everybody a ballot, eliminating all voting at the booth. And when you do that, if you haven't cleaned out your voter registration lists, you're sending them to people who are no longer residing at those addresses, people who have died, people who have changed parties. So now you have a boatload of ballots that have been sent out that are not assigned to anybody. And there are people who make it their job to find out where those are so that they can fill them in and then submit them. So people who say, voter fraud doesn't happen by that, prove it. You're
well.
Just...
What kind of ID do you have to show to vote in California? What kind of background checks are done for you to be able to vote in California?
None. You can show up in your birthday suit and say, "Hi, my name is Sam Paredes, and I want to vote." And they will, if you're going to the one of the few remaining ballot booths, they have to give you a license. You don't have to do anything to prove that you are a registered voter here in the state of California to get your ballot.
Yeah.
If you're registered, you don't have to prove that you are that person, and you can get the ballot and vote on it.
Yeah, that's insanity. People have to stand up to that because they're going to restrict
Yep.
your ability to defend yourself or to exercise your rights for sporting purposes, for hunting or whatever. But then anyone could go vote and then also unduly affect you when they may not even be a citizen, or they might not even be in good standing. That's I don't know. That's totally upside down. Armament Axis says that he was asking about buying reloading components. Are there any restrictions on that?
I'm going to say this really quietly. There are no restrictions on reloading. You can buy all the reloaders, all of the primers, cases, powder, and projectiles you want without control, and you can have them mail ordered and delivered to your doorstep. They don't understand and know anything about reloading yet, so you can do it with reckless abandon. Get as much as you need and more right now before they learn about reloading and come after us who reload. So yes,
it's only a matter of time.
Yeah,
it's only a matter of time. Do you feel, I often think about this, right? So tell me if you can't answer this. You don't have to answer it. But do you feel there's someone out there that's a firearms or a Second Amendment expert that's advising these guys these days? Because it seems to me like they have their level of intelligence has gone up, in what they're going after. And it makes me feel like there's someone out there pointing them in directions of things.
Well, I know that there are former employees of departments of justice whose sole job was to work in their firearms units, dealing with not only the laws but all levels of firearms. And I have not heard of one of our folks going to the dark side and revealing stuff. That's not even necessary for them to have this expertise. They have so many people that are leaving work with attorney generals and gun control agencies of government that are going and taking that technology and the information that they have learned, and they're selling it to the highest bidder. They're being consultants to the Brady Bunch and to moms with guns and moms who cry about guns and all of the various groups out there. There are definitely people with expertise that are providing them with a lot of this the new knowledge that because these people don't know an AR or an AK from a hot rock, So
I feel like they don't, but I feel like they're being very systematic lately. And they're going after things that maybe before we weren't seeing them doing that. So they've got some level of knowledge, and I don't think it's just someone sitting there looking at YouTube and like, oh, we should go after that next. I really feel like there's someone out there saying, well, you could do this. And it's only a matter of time before they go after things like reloading, right? This is why they want to go after machines and components and things like that. And then one day say, even though everything they're doing, even though they're putting you through, making you jump through all these hoops to get ammo, when ultimately they're still going to have problems and criminals still aren't going to comply with that, right? Because criminals don't care what the laws are. They're going to say, well, you know what? Maybe this person reloaded something, and maybe we need to stop people from being able to manufacture the ammo on their own. Right? They're going to keep looking for different ways. I mean, I think we're getting higher taxes on ammo already, right? In places like California. So, there's nothing that's safe here from these guys, at least not permanently.
100%. You're absolutely correct. And for any of you folks who are out there thinking, now they're not going to get my stuff, I live in a free state and all that, Wyoming or Montana or Idaho or
Florida.
You name it.
Yeah, Florida, where we are, is not safe from this kind of crap.
Yeah. There's no state that's immune from this, especially if they do it federally and impose it on everyone. So that's why this is extremely important.
Yeah. So let's see. We got a couple of questions here. Let me try to get to this. Okay, so this one is from Armament and Axis. He says, I spy an Uzi. So we'll go to Richard Hughes. What am I saying, Richard Hughes? Hoffman. So yeah, what are people spying in the background over there?
They're spying one of my custom Uzis, my M16 with the integrally suppressed 22 long rifle upper.
Nice.
And Sterling submachine gun.
I like the barrel shroud on that Sterling. I like that perforated look.
Yeah. Perforated, yeah.
Yeah, very sexy, and lots of Freedom machinery back there too.
Yeah,
lots of Freedom tools.
There's Freedom machinery.
Yeah, what kind of tools do you have in the shop for what you do? What do you use the most?
God, what do I use the most? Probably one of 1,000 different hand tools that I use the most. But behind me is my CNC lathe. Over there's my CNC mill. Can you? Yeah, right there in the back. Right there in the background, you can see my surface grinder.
Yeah. All of those are machine guns, right? Machine guns back there. Machines.
There's my...
Oh, look at that. Oh, this is even more machinery we don't get to see.
Yep.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So everything's a machine gun with you, right?
Yeah, everything.
Yeah. All right.
If it's not full auto, it's not fun.
There you go.
And the government was stupid enough to give me all the right licenses, so that's on them.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Kermit Loves Bacon says, "Does Sam have a small pistol primer hookup? Sold out everywhere I've looked." So that's a good question, Sam. Yeah.
Probably the best place to get the small pistol primers is to keep checking with Midway USA and Barnauls and any of the Sportsman's Guide. They are very large mail order houses, and they're going to get the first supplies that come from the manufacturers. When they manufacture a lot, okay, we're going to manufacture 10 million rounds. Immediately, the first million go to Midway USA and Barnauls and the top mail order houses.
The biggest buyers.
Yeah. And I would keep an eye on that. Right now, everybody who I knew who squirreled their primers and their components, they cashed in on their investments and it made off very well, and now they're cash rich and component poor.
Right. Yeah. You've been dealing with the industry for a while, Sam. I'm going to assume here. What do you think about this ammo shortage from your point of view? What's going on here? How long do you think it's going to last? Like, why are we in it?
Well, I think that it is a recurrence of what happened earlier, several years ago, and that people again return to the normal process of buying a box of ammunition, a box of 22, a box of 45, or 2 boxes of 9mm, or even 500 rounds, a case of 9mm. And for everything that's been going on, whether it was the virus or the riots in particular, people reverted to buying multiple cases instead of boxes at a time. And that just totally throws a loop in the manufacturing and delivery system that's in place. They manufacture and deliver ammunition to the distributors who send them to the dealers, and they have this whole model that they've established, knowing that these small dealers sell 1 boxes at a time at this rate. We manufacture in order to provide at that rate. We know that the competitive shooters use this much, and da-da-da-da-da-da. And when people go from, instead of buying 1 box of 22, 50 rounds to 4 or 5 bricks, or 200 rounds of a 200-round Winchester white box, 9mm, to 4 cases, that completely disrupts everything. And I think that the manufacturers are manufacturing everything they can as fast as they can, and it is just being gobbled up. And it's going to take a little while for this cycle to go through, and it normalizes again. And maybe it's going to normalize that people are no longer going to be buying boxes of 50, and we're going to see cases of ammunition showing up at our gun dealers, and that's the way we're going to be used to buying it.
Yeah.
That makes me happy. If people are buying cases of ammunition, and hopefully that means that they're training and they're shooting, and that's a beautiful thing. Because how many pieces of ammunition can you fit in your garage before you filled it up? You know?
It's a lot, but yeah, if you don't have cars,
maybe I shouldn't add.
Don't start a challenge. Don't start a challenge out there. People do it. Rich, do you agree with that? What are you seeing, and do you think, like lots of people saying that companies are having a hard time getting the supplies and things like that from overseas? Are you seeing that, Rich?
Yeah, I mean, like Sam said, you know, the companies just got overwhelmed. You know, they weren't prepared for it. Nobody was. And, you know, some of the companies, people have said, oh, well, just set up a new line. You know, well, a new line, if you have room to do it, a new line is $1 million to get the equipment. Then you got to get it all dialed in and running. You know, it's going to take a couple of months. You know, and then is it going to be profitable? You know, if Sam is right and people are buying cases of ammunition from now on instead of a box, adding a new line would be profitable for ammunition manufacturers. If it goes back to the way it was, where people are just buying a box of ammunition, they just spent a lot of money for nothing. But yeah, I mean, the manufacturers I've talked to are running 24/7. You know, some of the manufacturers were running 2 shifts, you know, now they're running 24/7. You know, they've added another shift or two to, you know, so they're constantly running.
Yeah, how far behind do you guys think they are? Are there a couple? Because I'm hearing a couple of weeks. What do you guys think? Is it more than that?
It's more than that.
Okay.
It's going to be after the first of the year. I've been told by a couple of manufacturers that I know.
Before we see anything going into stores?
No, they're
Okay.
you know, they've said we're constantly shipping.
Okay.
You know, you're not seeing it, but we're constantly.
I mean, I'm
shipping.
hearing that they're a few weeks behind. So, like, if they're manufacturing, if they're starting now, it's going to take a couple of weeks. Then it shows up, but that all gets eaten up versus before things would build up there to a certain extent. And then, like Sam was saying, you know, they're not ordering that much because they're not expecting this volume. But from what I'm hearing, they're a few weeks behind, just starting from scratch right now, production on, let's say, 223. You know, and then that takes a couple of weeks before it gets in. But when it gets in a lot of cases, it's already gone.
It's one day.
Yeah. You know, I've been told by the people that I know in the ammo industry that it won't be back to normal, where you could walk in and buy whatever ammo you want until after the first of the year.
After the first, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Sam? You agree with that?
I tend to agree. One of my very, very good friends, Chris Pusey, who owns Foothill Ammo, it's just an ammo shop in El Dorado County, and I talked to him the other day to check to see how he's doing. He says, "Man, my shop has been closed because we sold out. There's nothing to sell. The ammunition is coming in and spurt. You know, he's got orders that are filled or partially filled, and like Richard said, it comes in, it's already gone. You know, he's taking orders. Dealers are taking orders for people to say, okay, this is on back order. When it comes in, call me. Here, I'm paying for it. When it comes, it's sold. So when the was hitting the box, it's already sold, and it's going to take a while. I totally agree with Richard that it's for us to take this giant whipsaw and flatten it out back to normal. It's going to take a while. It's continue to bounce up and down until it comes to some normality. But that's how intense this hit on ammunition purchases was. We have 5 million brand new gun owners nationwide, and you drop 5 in a couple of months. You drop that many new people buying
it's
ammunition.
Massive.
That alone, cause in the manufacturing.
Yeah, and just to go to something you just said, Sam, and you guys could tell me, this is all informal. Like when I drive around here, I'm looking at the stores, and I've started to notice that not permanently, but certain days, stores that were open before are not even open. I think because of what you're saying, they don't have anything to sell, so why open the doors and have employees in there when there's nothing in, when there's nothing in the store? Have you guys seen it? I'm seeing that in my part of Florida. Are you guys seeing that at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, gun sales have since the beginning of the Rona deal. Gun sales have been off the hook here. Gun dealers in California have had the best year ever in the first 6 or 7 months of the year, and they are and now they're taking orders for guns that they're not going to be able to deliver for 4, 5, and 6 months. And that's the way it is. They don't have anything on the shelves anymore. Yeah. I mean, if somebody wants to buy a .475 line ball or something like that, the revolver, which very few can shoot, that maybe you'll find one for $6,000. But other than that, for a $10,000 shotgun, all of your Ruger revolvers, your Smith & Wesson semi-autos, all of the Glocks, the SIGs, the HDs, they're all back ordered now, and people are waiting to buy them. And and I know the manufacturer. We used to have a deal with. We have had wonderful success with Springfield. They have been super supportive of what we've been doing here in the state of California. Okay. But they've had to suspend their program that they have with charitable groups like us, because their demand is so intense. They cannot give anything away, donate anything away. They've got to take customers first, and they're doing that in very, very diligently, and we support them. So we know what's happening. Springfield isn't the only one. We know that Smith. I mean, the only one that's crazy is Remington here. They've gone bankrupt at the best-selling time for firearms in the history of California over the last.
Yeah, I think that's a 1-2 blow from some of the moves they made, and then also people making moves against them. So we are over the 9 o'clock hour here, but I do want to touch on this before we get out. I hope and pray that those 5 million new, because those are new gun owners out there, according to the NSSF that I mentioned at the beginning of the show. I hope those folks are thinking about what is allowing them to even own guns in America, right? And realize that that's coming under attack. And part of what they're looking to do, if you can't buy enough ammo, you can't buy any more guns right now, you need to support organizations out there like Gun Owners of California, Gun Owners of America. There's lots of Second Amendment Foundation, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. You need to support organizations out there. Maybe do some research and make sure that that's a functioning organization, which a lot of these guys are. But you need to support this, and then you also need to get out there and vote, but vote paying attention to who you're voting for and whether or not they're saying they want to take those guns away from you.
Yeah.
What do you say about that, Sam?
Well, first of all, we want to invite anybody who wants to be in the fight and try to put out the fire out here in California before it spreads into a wildland fire across the country. You can go to our website at www.gunownersca.com. We've been getting members from across the country that have been interested in helping us fight these lawsuits here that will eventually help in states across the country. We need your support. Typically, we have fundraising events in order to raise money to be involved in lobbying, elections, and in the courts. But because of the coronavirus, we haven't had but one event this entire year, and that typically makes up about half of our revenue. So thankfully, because of shows like yours, Hank, and a couple of others that have allowed us to take the message out on the internet and mostly through YouTube, We've been able to raise the resources that we need to stay engaged in the courts, to stay engaged in the legislature, and to prepare for this upcoming election. But we need your continued support. Just because you're at home, hey, if you can't send $25, send 10. If you can't send 10, send 5. Everything that you dedicate. The box of a cost of ammo is all that we ask to be involved, whether it's with Gun Owners of California, which we invite you to do, Gun Owners of America, which is our national organization, or Gun Owners Foundation, if you want that tax credit. Everybody has the National Rifle Association. Our partners here here in the state of California, we're rifle and pistols. We're all fighting. Pick a group, make sure that they're doing what you want to be done, dedicate whatever resources you can. Remember, the other side, their vocation and their avocation is to gain power to deny us our Second Amendment rights. That's what they live for. That's what they eat, sleep, and drink. We enjoy our families, our churches, our jobs, our vacations, our hobbies, our guns for fun and pleasure. That leaves very little time to being involved in political action. The other side spends 100% of their lives in political action. We need to dedicate, because there's far more of us, a little bit of our time to political action so that we can fight and defeat this scourge that is against everything that is right and righteous in this country. Those who would destroy our Constitution, destroy our capitalist economy, and would destroy our Republican form of government. And I challenge everybody to be involved. Hank, first, Richard, I love you, man. I have had plenty of opportunities to run to the bathroom because you were about to make me go pee, making me laugh.
Hope you got some Pampers on or something.
Depends.
It depends.
And Hank, God bless you and Lola and the entire for being the voice and the light that allows information to be spread to people that need to hear it. And everybody who hears it has to take this message that they have to listen to this podcast over and over again. And my last thing is that I'll swap you a Cryptech Gun Owners of California t-shirt for one of your Aloha shirt, Magnum PI themed theme shirts.
Absolutely. Fair deal.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Together we can win. Apart, it's going to be way harder.
Absolutely.
So God bless you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you too. Amen. I wholeheartedly agree with you. Please go support, Sam Paredes, Gun Owners of California. If anyone out there wants to reach you directly, Sam, what's the best way to do that?
Send me an email directly at SAMP, that's Sierra Alpha Mike Papa, at gunownersca.com, GUNOWNERSCA.com. That is my personal email. Drop me a line. I will respond. Anybody has any questions, if you're coming to California to visit, if you're coming to California to live, and you need to know what the laws are, or what to bring, what you got, how to bring what you got, give me a call, send me an email, and we'll help you all out here. Thank you for those of you that have helped us here in the fight. We're the remnant, but thank God we know there are supporters all the way down in Florida. And Richard, I don't even know where you are.
Florida.
He's in space. He's in space.
Florida?
Yeah.
Yep.
Space.
Well, take care of my son, his family there. They live in Orlando.
Oh, cool.
That's where I am.
Yeah.
So he keeps me up to speed on what's happening in the Sunshine State. So,
okay. Very good. So let me do this. I know some people are asking about stuff in California. Because we're about to come off the show, I would suggest you guys go back. Sam Paredes has covered all of that extensively. So, just take the time to go back here on the show, and you'll be able to see that. Some people asking about Duncan V. Becerra, etc. Let me give Richard Hoffman from BWE Firearms a chance to tell you guys, where can you how can you follow him, support him, all of that. Richard, give us the skinny on that.
Well, I don't like people following me, but
Yeah.
Okay,
where can they go to see what you do?
When we say we got your six, brother.
Yeah. Exactly.
We say we got your six.
Yeah.
I'm on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all variations of BWE Firearms, however they made me put it. Those are the three big ones that I do.
Yeah. Okay.
You can also reach me at richard@bwefirearms.com. That's my.
Okay, awesome.
I'll eventually answer that.
Right. Okay, that works. That works. So let me just thank Harry's Holsters for sponsoring the podcast here. I want to tell everyone, go to hankstrange.com, sign up for our email list. If you need any more info, hit us up. I am going to run in the end right now. Stay right there, guys. Make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel here, ring the bell, so you can be notified whenever we go live. We are going to rip the audio out of this and throw it up on iTunes and any other place that you get your audio podcasts from. We really appreciate these gentlemen, Sam Paredes of Gun Owners of California, as well as Richard Hoffman from BWE Firearms for coming in here. I do want to remind you guys, tomorrow on the show from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern, we do have, we've got Pete Brownell joining us, taking questions, hanging out with us the whole time. So, make sure you come back here and share that out there so we can have folks smash the thumbs ups on this whenever you're looking at it. Thanks so much. Who wants the final word here before we get out? Who wants the final word? Let's see.
Sam, you go ahead.
Stay engaged. Be armed and informed. That's the way we're going to save America. God bless you guys.
Amen. God bless you. Thank you.
Amen.
We're out of here. Love you too. See you guys. Peace.